just want to show you here, this is just a lock that was sent in by one of our members on the Locksmith Training Company website. A bit of advertising there, but it's just a lock that he sent to me because it was a York BS lock, but he found that when he was putting his curtain wheel pick in, that the curtain wheel didn't tend to or seem to move as far as any other type of curtain wheel lock. The main reason being because there's slight adaptation on the curtain wheel itself. So I'm just going to show you that, so you can hopefully see that. Okay, you see I've just got an elastic band on it just for now, just to hold all the levers in place. But what you can basically see on the curtain wheel itself, you'll see this additional little part here, just there, this little part here, because that way when the curtain wheel turns, you'd expect it on a basic or a standard curtain wheel. Obviously you would just have this raised part of the wheel here that would catch the bolt tail. But on this one they've added this extra part, so it basically means when the curtain wheel turns, it engages the bolt way before what you would expect it to. So it appears that perhaps your tension tool or your curtain pick stem hasn't actually turned quite as far as it should do. So I'll just show you what I mean by that. Just put in a curtain wheel pick here, and you'll see that when I put the curtain wheel pick in, okay, into the wheel, I can turn the wheel and it stops just there. Okay, so you can see the sort of position that it's sat in. Most of the time you'd expect your T-bar or your picking stem to be in this sort of position here. Okay, but on this one it actually stops around there. Okay, but that won't actually prevent the lock being picked. Okay, and it's not going to stop anything or the pick wires going in. Because one of the concerns I had when the member who this lock belongs to had was that he said that he couldn't get his pick wire perhaps to lift the actual levers in the lock, and it could have been that the pick wire, the upstand here, was a bit too long. But I've tried this with both short and high pick wires and it all works. So you can see that's how it'd be sat. You can see you can get nicely underneath all them levers there in the lock. Okay, number one here is quite low, but it does allow you to go in without the lever pack coming out the lock. It does allow me to go in and actually start to lift all them levers in there. This one's got little spaces in it as well. Okay, but you can see it. This is a short upstand pick wire, but you can see it lifts everything as it should do. Okay, and it's exactly the same with a longer pick wire. Just let all that drop back down, just being held up by the elastic bands. Okay, you can see it's the same with a slightly longer upstanding pick wire. That still allows me to go in and lift everything as it should do. You can see it's lifting that number one there. Okay, I would myself tend to go with a slightly shorter pick wire. Okay, like the first one I used. But I'll show you anyway, both the wires being used. So what I'm going to do quickly, it's going to take me a second to do, just pop the case back on this one. Got a little tension tool in here, just holding this elastic band tight. Just need to get rid of that. Okay, just make sure all that's in. Pop the case cover back on. Pop in the screws. More screw. Okay. Let's get the lock straight. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just show you the lock being picked with a basic tension tool and wire. Just zoom a little bit. Okay, so I'll show you with the short wire first. Okay, so the wire that I'm using, just to show you the height of the upstand there. So just about there. Okay, so you can see it's quite short, approximately the height of that key blade there. So just pop this in. wire in, turn everything. Okay, so I'm just going to start to pick this. Okay, one thing that I found on it, just need to make sure that you reach that number 1, or this first lever in the lock. But again, I just look for the binding levers. Already had 1 or 2 bind there. It's got a few anti-pick in this, but as of yet I've not actually engaged any of them. So just there, you can see that goes quite quickly. Okay, you can see that's gone. Okay, so I'll just show you that same thing, but this time not using a short pick wire like the one I just used there. This time I'm going to use a slightly higher pick wire, so hopefully you can see the difference in the height. Okay, so I'm just going to put in my high pick wire in, and I'm showing you with both the wires just so you can see that it does work with both. So all I'm doing when I'm going through, I'm just looking for anything to bind, so I'm going through from the front to the back all the time looking for binding. And when I come back to the front, I'm always making sure that the upstand of the pick is all the way facing down, so I ensure that I get underneath that first lever in the lock. Okay, nice little clip there. Okay, things have now begun to bind up a bit. Again, just skipping through, looking for that binding, that number 1 again, making sure I'm underneath that one. Just goes there. Yeah. Okay, you can see when I come back to number 1, back to the front, what I do is make sure that I pull the thumb turn all the way back. Oh. So i.e., when I'm picking, show you this once more, let that reset. So I always make sure that pick is all the way back underneath that number 1. So as I progress through, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I come back to 1 and I pull it all the way back. So if I don't do that, good chance I'm going to miss that first lever in the lock. Just there. Let's come back to the start again. Again, just looking for slight binding. Already had a few kicks. Nice bit of give there. Just goes there. Okay, then once it's gone, I just look for a high lever in the lock. So that one's low, so I get my pick seized there. Got a high one there, so that allows me to turn all the way. Oh, and it allows me to get my pick back out. Okay, so there you have it. That's the York BS3621, and hopefully that's explained to the member whose lock this is, or hopefully give you a bit more insight into how, when I send this back to you, how you're hopefully going to open it over and over again.